I'm just going to give you all just a very brief overview of what the product management space looks like in Ireland at the moment. Now, as it happens, my colleague Lee is our product specialist in 9Dots, but he wasn't able to be here tonight, so I'm speaking on everyone's behalf tonight, I guess. Look, you know, that's what I've been saying every day. I'll just do it all, like. But there's Lee with the mustache. He's kind of two to the left of me. You can all tell him that he should have been here. But anyway, at the moment in Ireland, there's about 3,021 people with the job title product manager. We can see that there's a split of 61 to 39 male to female, just product management, that exact title in Ireland right now. Most of us probably know this, but like the majority of people who are employed in these positions are within the Greater Dublin area. Cork, Galway, Limerick and Waterford come up next. I did find it interesting that there was just 24 in Waterford. I'm not sure why, but it just seems like a low number. But look, these are kind of the top locations of where these, where product management opportunities tend to be. This really just kind of gives us a breakdown, just if there is anybody looking for work right now, the top companies that hire within this space: Workday, MasterCard, Microsoft. But what's interesting is even for a company, for example, like Microsoft, they've seen a dip in the number of these opportunities over the past 12 months. So it's, apart from IBM, who've had quite a big jump in terms of the number of opportunities, again, only over the past 12 months, companies like Microsoft have seen a dip. However, this really does not take into consideration the many amazing startups who are hiring. These just happen to be the top ones at the moment. So, Workday, 111 product managers right now. So if anybody wants to take a little pick of that, you're more than welcome. But there's 143 adverts for product management opportunities in Ireland right now. That doesn't necessarily mean there's 143 jobs, because there could be companies like us advertising a product manager role, and if we worked with Workday, they could be advertising the same role themselves. But again, it's just a very brief overview. Software development, biggest industry for hiring product managers. Again, IT, financial services, that's more like fintech, like Revolut or those kind of fintech companies. Banking has seen a growth because I think traditionally, maybe like Bank of Ireland wouldn't have been the most concerned with their product, but they've definitely taken note, tried to make a few improvements, which I'm hoping they'll continue working on. But it is kind of growing. But again, this is probably nothing super new to anybody. Now, this is an interesting one. Perhaps if anybody is looking to hire somebody, 402 people, product managers, changed their job last year, and roughly people stay for an average of 2.5 years in their current role. So that means it's highly unlikely that the people who switched job last year are going to do it again, and even the people who changed before, the year before, they're probably not going to be looking for about another year or so for something new. So it kind of means if you are a job seeker, there's a lot of people who, even though they're product managers, for example, they're not going to be applying to the same jobs as you. But equally, if you are a hiring manager, it's just really good to keep in mind that, like, if people have switched a new job recently, you'd probably want to be offering something pretty competitive to ask somebody to switch again in such a short period of time. Now, I'd recommend taking a picture of this because I'm not going to go through everything, but again, over the last 12 months, like, skills change all the time, and like we can definitely see it with AI as well. Things that didn't exist before are now requirements for jobs. But these would be, the top list of skills that professionals have in product management over the past 12 months. Now, Product design and design in general, that would generally be when I used to recruit, that was my area of specialism. I do not know what a mechanical product designer is, but I will Google it. But again, we can see AI there as well. I'm surprised it's not a little bit higher, but nonetheless, that is going to keep becoming more and more of a requirement for new roles. But it's just helpful to know that year on year, these requirements, they're coming up more and more often. I'm going to fly through this, but this is just for anyone who is looking for a job. If you want to be found by a recruiter, if you're ever wondering, oh, why? Okay, maybe nobody complains about not being contacted by a recruiter. I should probably rephrase that. But if you are looking for a job, this is generally how recruiters try to find you. So they're going to look for your job title first. So if you want to be found, make sure that your job title isn't... I used to call myself, I think it was a principal director cat enthusiast. That means nothing. I made it up just for fun. It was a joke that we had in 9 Dots. But if I want to be found, I need a real job title. Then we go into, kind of skill sets. We go into, it could be technology. It's going to be those skills that we saw on the previous slide. Make sure they're on your LinkedIn profile as skills that you have. We look at keyword searches. So all of these keywords, just make sure they're visible on your profile. Even things like SaaS, cloud platform, as many combinations of things that you can come up with. So like, GCP, put in GCP, put in Google Cloud Platform, whatever, just as long as you kind of spell everything out, because these are the Booleans that recruiters would use to search for somebody particular. So generally speaking, fairly empty LinkedIn profiles don't tend to come up because they don't contain the information that our clients, for example, are looking for. You don't need to take a screenshot of that if you don't want to, but just kind of make sure that your LinkedIn profile is well populated. This is just like an overview of the tech market in general. So I think we've all been hearing for so long about like layoffs one after another. But in comparison to, a few months ago, or even this time last year, there is a bit of a growth there in the market, which is really, really positive. And I think, part of that is realistically due to AI as well. There's so many more opportunities becoming available because of AI. So bit of a dip at the start of summer, but look, it's picking back up now. That's normal enough stuff. Like coming into the summer period, if people are off on annual leave or whatever, that just happens. It's, highs and lows. 89 companies hiring in Ireland right now, and 49 of them, which is really nice to see, they're advertising more than they did just a few months ago. So yes, we're coming into the Christmas period when traditionally things tend to kind of quieten down a little bit, but those roles, they will still be there and ready to kind of, get moving in January. So a lot of companies, they are still going to have opportunities for the next few weeks. Short break for Christmas, and they'll pick it right back up again in January. So if anybody is looking for work, don't worry, things are rising ever so slowly, and hopefully that will continue. That's Lee. So he, again, is not here, but if you want to connect with him, just scan the QR code. It'll bring you to his LinkedIn. Connect with him, send him messages, tell him that you're extraordinarily disappointed he's not here today, and that I was incredibly, incredibly sound for standing in for him. So what I would advise, if you have any questions on product management, any questions on the market, if you want help with your CV, anything like that, just send them right over to Lee and he will get back to you. And yeah, that's it. I'm going to bring you back to Seema and she can introduce the first talk. No worries.
A lot of great insights here. Thank you. I'm just going to hand over to Mirella.
Let me just...